I'm at that age. I'm at that age. God. For real.
My first roller
It's a bit much. All this noise is a bit much.
I got it. How are you?
Almost there.
I'm going up. Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Oh, we got it.
Jesus. Okay.
We can take the train.
Woo. Okay. Lord. Oh, Lord. Colder in the clouds.
It has 360 foot divisions. Look, there's 5. Like zebra break becomes the grabby zebras. They're in the middle. On the left hand side, the grabby zebras by the zebras keep going. They're the largest species out there we have. And in their middle is blue, white. Look at around some little behind you. They're so cute. Let's go outside and be brown. And then look behind you, those were the grabby zebras. Your female, material. On the right hand side, look on the right and keep going around. And the baby brings the precious treasure.
You know why?
But I'm gonna wait.
You know why though, right?
Everybody's living.
Everybody like, let me sit.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Oh, okay. We shouldn't go all the way down to the
No.
They got the nine.
I hope you got the knees. We gon' get it up.
Popcorn. Popcorn clear. Dispatch.
Jesus Christ. Wow. I can't even keep my eyes open. Oh my Lord. Oh my God. Oh my God. Jesus. Jesus. Woo. Woo. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Help me, please. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Wait.
That was so fun. You want to do it again?
No. So, there's a lot you missed while I was away from this series. Back in late May, right before I moved to Tampa, I applied to this senior operations and project manager role that had everything I was looking for. 6-figure salary, great benefits, generous annual bonus, and less than 30 minutes from home. I thought I hit the lottery with that one. The HR screening went amazingly well. And then, crickets. Complete silence. No rejection email, no update, nothing. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I shot my shot knowing they wanted more formal operations experience than I had. When the silence stretched on, I just figured they found their perfect candidate and moved on. But plot twist, 2 months later, this same HR person reaches out asking if I'm still interested, if my salary requirements change, or if I'd land something new. Whether I had a job or not, I was absolutely moving forward. Nothing else I interviewed for was offering what they had on the table. Sometimes the opportunities you think are gone for good have a way of circling back when you least expect it. Hi, good morning.
How are you?
Doing well, and yourself?
Good. I'm glad that we're able to talk again, because the job, as I remember, we had talked and you were not able. We had put the job on hold. Do you remember talking to me?
Yes, I do. That was like the end of May.
Yeah, and so we just reopened it, so I wanted to reach out to you because we had not gone anywhere with that. Mm-hmm. But I just want to do some double checks just to make sure we're aligned. So has your job changed at all?
No, I'm still
okay.
searching.
Everything's the same? Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So still in Tampa. We're good. I will get your resume back to the team because, as I said, it just reopened.
Okay.
So since you were in our repository of candidates, I reached out to you first. And so we can see what we can do. Okay.
Okay.
That's it on my side. Do you have any questions for me? Nothing's really changed on the job.
Okay, that was gonna be my first question. Okay, so what happened prior to, like, did they fill it and now they're adding more roles? Or?
No. We just never filled it. We put it on hold because we had been hiring so much. We had to kind of like stop and take a breath and say, okay, now we're ready to bring this person on. So we just, we had been hiring a lot in our security team. And so we just said, okay, take a breath, reevaluate. We weren't reevaluating the job. We knew it was on hold. The woman who's in the role now is transferring to another department.
I remember that. Okay.
And so we wanted to get all the timing done. So I will get your resume back to our leader so we can go from there, okay?
Okay, and will the interviews be in person or they'll stay remote?
There'll be a couple remote, and then we always do it on site.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that still good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so we'll go and see what happens, okay?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for talking to me again. I appreciate it. As I said, I just wanted to make sure nothing had changed and that we're on the right track, okay?
Absolutely. All right, you're welcome. You have a good one.
Take care, my friend. Okay, bye-bye.
We kind of capture all this what we call B-roll. I'm just giving my kids a whole bunch of home videos.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Doing well, no complaints.
Yeah, so far so good?
Yeah, it's after that lunchtime, so.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today.
Likewise, thank you.
Of course. So just kind of a high level of how this is going to work. I'm going to kind of walk you through the position and kind of tell you a little bit about myself as well. And then we'll just kind of get into a conversation with some questions and answers. Does that sound all right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Perfect. So my name is Dina Thomas. I'm the head of operations in the Global Security Office. I've been with the firm for about 7 years now, and I'm based out of our Tampa office. This firm is really great about building up their people, and I've really just come to love the culture, come to love the work that I do, and yeah, just really appreciating the team that I work with. So I am looking for a senior associate position to work in operations with me. Basically, the role is kind of split up in a 50-50 capacity where you are handling sort of the day-to-day responsibilities involved in operations, and that includes administration, like budgeting, procurement, invoices, basically anything to keep the lights on within the department. That's my wheelhouse and my world. And then the other half is around project management. So I would like someone to step in and actually manage security sponsored projects. And that portfolio might be 5 to 6 in a given fiscal year. So you're definitely going to be quite busy with respect to managing projects, coordinating with teams, and it might be cross-functional. So we work very closely with our IT resources and others kind of in shared services. So we basically work as the right hand to our chief security officer. So I report directly to him. He's based out of Dubai, and we actually have a global team, so we're everywhere. So yeah, essentially I'm really just looking for support to help me with my pillar in ops. Ideally this person for me is super organized, very detailed, very good communicator, both written and verbal. And then also someone who's willing to step up in my absence, right? So really want someone who's going to stick around and grow with the firm, and just kind of looking for that kind of long-term commitment would be sort of ideal for me. I'd like to turn it over to you if you could tell me a little bit about yourself and why you were interested in the role.
Yes, I am an educator turned project manager. That's kind of my transition. So I was educator for 6 years, and pretty early on, I realized I didn't necessarily want to be in the classroom. And I felt like that actually prepared me for that transition into project management, because my first year teaching, I taught second graders, which were 8-year-olds. And if you can explain it to an 8-year-old, then you can explain it to anyone. While teaching, I kind of I was working in like marketing projects, and then kind of went into managing those projects because I kind of had that foresight to ask those questions, get in the weeds, and kind of help reverse engineer, like, how are we actually going to get there? Not just, this is what needs to be done, let's kind of play it back. And so that's kind of what drove me into that project manager role, especially since I always say I'm like the project manager of the friend group, of the family, and then now in the workplace. It just kind of worked. The contract world kind of allowed me to dabble in different environments, learn different types of projects, from the agile to traditional, and learn different systems. So I've just kind of allowed myself to grow in that space, which eventually led me to the PMP. And then now I actually just got accepted into USF's MBA program. So I just kind of want to continue to grow in that business development, operations, and kind of progress in that type of space. That's how I landed up here. Probably one of the first roles where I see it's like a split, where you get to do operations as well as project management.
Gotcha. So this MBA program that you're pursuing, is this like part-time, like you would pursue it after?
Yeah, it's a part-time evening program and weekends.
Part-time evening. Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's awesome. I mean, I'm all about pursuing education and training, and I'm glad you brought that up, because it's something that A&M highly values, and we encourage our people all the time to look at training that's not just appropriate for your role, but also what allows you to grow professionally. So
I have a question, because I was on your LinkedIn. This specific department, was it always here? Like, it looks as if like you kind of built it from the ground up.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great question. So the answer is no. I actually started in a different department, and then there was an opportunity that just sort of popped up that I kind of got wind with, and my manager sort of encouraged me to look at it. With the CISO that is there today, he and I and one other director who's no longer with us built it from the ground up, and are basically the department that we are. And I didn't have, formal security training before I came into the role. Everything that I've picked up has been on the job, and then also some cybersecurity fundamentals training, leadership training. So there's a whole host of things. And I think being a PM for security projects, you pick up on the lingo very quickly, because as you know, you have this unique role where you basically have to understand the project in and out, and you have to properly speak to it, right? So you need to make sure, I think what you alluded to earlier, trying to help some 8-year-olds understand, well, imagine like a whole room of people of different backgrounds trying to understand a project. So it's super critical that, that person has the ability to learn to speak the speak, right? And be able to relay it. So, yeah. So you told me a little bit about kind of the types of projects that you do. How big were those projects, and were the teams very large, or I guess tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so there were wide range of teams and different project sizes. One of the first big projects I was on was a migration project. In simple terms, they were switching phone providers. but it was from the entire university as well as their hospital operations. And so that was actually a 5-year project that I came in year 3.5, 4 to finish out. And our teams were kind of everywhere because the main team was based in California, and then we had developers in India. So I'm kind of working on different time zones, different teams. The budgets for that entire portfolio was well into a couple million. So that's one of those large traditional projects that I was able to work on. Most recently, we were dealing with enterprise-wide projects. So those were pretty complex, but we did like agile frameworks. So we kind of ran them through the different sprints and the ceremonies. So those were more short-lived versus that traditional long project, that waterfall style. So we had, we had these projects that were rolling out, these sprints that were rolling out every month for different feature updates on platforms such as Salesforce, Workday, and Microsoft. So I've dealt with those type of projects. In the middle would be in their marketing operations department. So that was probably the busiest type of project management I've done, because I would be managing anywhere between 25 projects at once, something as small as email and newsletter for, a specific department, or something as major as, hey, we have this campaign with this corporate employer and we need these different type of assets. We actually need to build a whole website for it. So those projects were about 6 to 12 weeks long.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so, I guess being a PM, we run into lots of different challenges, right? I think it's such a unique position and it's such an important one. And I think people rely very heavily on the PM to get things across the finish line, right? And it's so important that this person has like those soft skills to be patient, right? To make sure they've got the right resources in place and being able to communicate effectively. So, to that point, have you ever come across a time where you've had to deal with challenging or difficult stakeholders or even members of your project team? And maybe give me an example of kind of how you handled it.
Yes, I would say most recently they brought on a project manager to kind of pretty much solve the problem that they thought they had. And when I got there, I was, after doing some analysis and, interviewing different people, trying to understand actually what the problem is and then what is it that we would want to take place. We ended up realizing that the problem that they thought needed to be resolved isn't the actual problem. And presenting that to the senior leaders and senior stakeholders who kind of had their own vision. And I'm the contractor coming in like, hey, this is not going to work the way that you think it is. I would say there was a little tension there. It's like, hey, this is what I found. And I know what you want, but this is the reality of the situation we have with the time constraints that we have. You guys brought me in at the end of March for something you want to go live at the end of March. That's unrealistic. So we do need to make some adjustments. And so in that situation, I felt like the reason they trusted me is because I was able to present the facts of what we're faced with, but also present solutions. So here are the options we have. And now you can make an informed decision.
Right. Yeah, no, 100%. And sometimes the sensitivity of the project can really drive how we get to that end date. And, certainly we have moving goalposts all the time. It's just sort of the nature of being a PM. It's unfortunate, but, sometimes we have to stop and pivot. And I think for us in security, our strongest partnership is with IT and their resources. So, you talked a lot about being a PM. So obviously the role is in the security department. Do you have, I guess, any interest, or would you be comfortable with taking security basic training? I think it would be helpful to that person going forward to at least have some sort of basics knowledge in order to, I guess fully appreciate what we do.
Yes, yeah, I would definitely. And it's interesting because I had started, Google Coursera had a IBM cybersecurity fundamentals foundational type of course that I started, I want to say at least a year ago. And I made it all the way through until now we had to get to these simulations, and the software would not download on my Mac because you needed like a Windows. And I was like, what? How do I get past this? There was no way to get past it. I share that to say, like, I immerse myself in the industry, in the projects that I'm in, because I'm just that curious type of person. I want to continually grow and learn. And to me, I can't make a sound decision like, hey, I don't really like it if I don't know anything about it, if I'm not actually engaging with that industry. So yes, it is something I would like to know and learn.
Okay. Yeah, that's very good. Awesome. I don't think I have any more questions. I think we touched on quite a bit. What questions do you have for me?
Why the need now? How did we get to the point where, okay, I actually need someone that's like split outside of me?
Yep. That's a great question, because I've been able to do the job on my own. I mean, that's basically the short of it. Mm-hmm. Also because of budgeting and headcount. So if you were to be my PM and you said, I need an analyst to support me, right? That would be something that we could talk about. So it's just gotten to the point where I have been doing the job, on my own for quite a bit, but I had the latitude to just define it, which has been really great. But yeah, it's gotten to the point now where I really want to get people on board that I can teach and grow as a leader. Awesome.
And so since we're in that space of how you mentor and manage, how would you describe your management style?
Yeah, certainly. I'm all about constant communication, right, as needed. So if you don't know something, come to me, right? I'm very much open door. I'm all about raising people up. I'm all about growth, not just professionally, but personally. And, I have just a level of care, right? I'm here to make sure that your well-being and sort of your expectations are being met too, right? And not just my own.
I like that. How would you support someone that you see is struggling?
With like specific tasks, or
if I'm the new PM here and you kind of laid out the playing field and what I need to do, and I'm working independently, I'm reaching out, but I'm still kind of struggling. Maybe I'm lacking somewhere that is now impacting how this team functions, or it's impacting something that I can't see, but you are able to see it since you're more leadership focused. So how would you provide support in that type of situation?
Absolutely. And it's transparency. I will, absolutely reach out and communicate to you if I see something where we could do better on or improve on, or where you sort of need, room for growth. And let's just have a conversation, right? And just sort of have that one-on-one to understand what the problem is, where we can see improvement, and then how I can support you with that, right? We very much have and heavily rely on sort of mid-year performance reviews and then year-end performance reviews. And then we also track fiscal year goals. So, we're always kind of thinking about what goals do we want to meet by year end. And that's kind of how we formally track and measure your progress and your performance. And that ultimately feeds into, bonus compensation conversations by year end. So absolutely. And then I would just say to that person, hey, while we have these regular conversations, it doesn't always have to be about tasks of the week, right? Talk to me about your ambitions. Talk to me about your concerns. If you have problems with other people on the team, or you're struggling to get stakeholder buy-in, right? I want to know those things ahead of time so I can support you, right? Because we are a team.
Love that. Since this is kind of like a new role, what would success in the first 90 days look like?
So I think success would be measured on basically getting up to speed on first the day-to-day, right? I think operations number one, and then, focusing in on the role of the PM, right? getting comfortable with the applications, right? Using Salesforce, using Aggresso. PlanView is how we manage all of our projects and make updates on and track our tasks on. I mean, there's so much. SharePoint, right? Like this is very heavy for this person to manage both SharePoint sites that we have. It's those responsibilities that keep the lights on that I think that you would heavily train on. And then I guess, we would work on slowly easing into the PM. But yeah, it takes time. It takes time, especially not having the security terminology background. But, that's why it's not a hard requirement for me, because I didn't come in with it. I absolutely learned so much just on the job.
Okay, and my last question is, you said you've been here for 7 years, over 7 years. So what keeps you here?
That's a great question. And it's funny that you asked that, because we actually just completed our employee engagement survey for 2025, and they reviewed all of the results for our team and for other teams earlier this morning. And, that is actually one of the questions that gets presented on this survey. First and foremost, it's the culture. Okay. I think we have a very flexible culture that is diverse and has a great sense of community. Like we all try to work together as best as we can. So I like that togetherness. And they really say that their biggest asset is their people. So that's something also that, I like to wake up and feel like I'm valued here, right? And that's something that is also important to me, is being able to recognize my people for all of their good work, because at the end of the day, it isn't just about a paycheck, right? This is who we are sometimes. So I live for that, and just learning what I can about security. I'm still continuing to learn. But yeah, I work with a great group, and we care about each other. So
I like that. And I can assume that you guys are pretty tight knit since it's a smaller team.
Exactly. Yes. So I think that helps us. And as I said earlier too, we're growing very rapidly, the firm. I think we're at about 12,500 globally. With offices all over. I think they just built new offices in Japan. So we're really making our presence, and obviously we need the resources to handle that. So yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. That's all the questions for me for now.
Okay, great. As far as next steps, I'm going to connect back with the recruiting team, and hopefully you should hear something, very shortly. So I am looking to have someone start sometime in August. I don't have a solid date yet, but is there any sort of timeline that you're working on?
No timeline.
No timeline. Okay. And are you currently based in Tampa?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you're here. Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, thank you so much for your time, and it was nice getting to know more about you. Okay.
Likewise.
Thank you.
All right,
enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
And just like that, I'm taking my time getting reacclimated to this city. Daily walks, weekly interviews, and little pops of excitement as I prepare to start school this fall. Can't wait to see where this road leads next. Sometimes it feels like I'm riding a stationary bike. Lots of movement, but going nowhere. But I'm just grateful for this slow season, because I know it'll come to an end real soon. So I'm taking it all in stride. Now, I know that I have not been as consistent as I would like to in this series, but that's the beauty of life with Lola. Things change, people change, and life continues to change daily. And so, as I do my best to continue to show up and share bits and pieces of my life, I hope that I get to catch you in the next episode as I continue to share life with Lola.